What's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review. And today we're taking a look at the highly anticipated S.H Figuarts Spider-Man No Way Home Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And this is a very exciting figure because a lot of people have been really wanting this version of Spider-Man for a very long time. And it's crazy to me because in recent years, we've seen a lot of companies give us some really great Spider-Man figures from all over the place, you know, different versions, comic stuff, movie stuff, whatever. Different companies have given us some really nice Spider-Man figures, but for whatever reason, this version has been ignored. And I really don't understand it because in my opinion, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies are classics. I mean, the first two are classics. They're some of the best Spider-Man movies that you'll ever see. And, you know, you would think that that alone would justify like one of these companies going back and making some Spider-Man figures based on this version. But for whatever reason, they haven't. But thankfully, through the whole No Way Home thing, we're finally able to get this version of Spider-Man. And I'll be honest, at first, there was some design things going on there that kind of kept me from being too excited about this figure. But after seeing some in-hand shots, I'm pretty hyped up for it. It looks pretty damn good. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with the packaging. Through the half window, you can see the figure along with the accessories. Right here, we get a look at Spider-Man. On the side of the box, we get a look at the figure. On the back, we see the figure in some different poses and things like that. Over here, we see the figure again. And that's about it for the packaging. It's very small, compact. It holds on to all the accessories. And yeah, even though there's not a whole lot going on, I do like it because it's small and easy to store and collector friendly. But enough about the box. Let's go ahead and get this Spider-Man out and take a look. Alrighty, so here we have him right out of the box. And I've got to say, my first impression is that Bandai really did a great job on him. He looks incredible. The sculpting work on him is insane. There's a whole lot of detail. The articulation is awesome. He's so much fun to pose around and play with. And really, that's like the main strength of this figure. Because when he's standing there in a vanilla pose, there's definitely some things that I'm not crazy about. But any type of like criticisms that I have for this figure kind of disappear into the back of my mind when I'm posing it around. It's so much fun to play with, and you could definitely get him into some really nice poses that make you forget some of the shortcomings. So let me just tell you about the one thing I dislike about this Spider-Man figure and a lot of other S.H Spider-Man figures. I just really dislike the way they do the hips. There's too much going on here. I don't like these extra floating plates. I understand that, you know, they want to maximize the amount of range and still kind of cover up the, you know, any type of joint or whatever. So, you know, I understand why it's done, but I just don't think it's executed that well. I don't like the way all this looks. And then from the back, it looks like he has a thong. And, you know, I just feel like this could all be done better. But with that said, that's kind of a minor gripe that I have with this figure. It is the one thing that was keeping me from being really excited about it, but you know, after seeing some in-hand pictures, you know, I decided to grab it, and I'm really happy that I did because this figure is awesome. He's so much fun to pose around and play with. And like I said, it's really cool to finally have this version of Spider-Man. So despite the criticism I have about the hips, I think for the most part, I am very happy with the way he turned out. So, yeah. And they did a great job with the details on Spider-Man, starting off at the head. This is very well sculpted, a lot of nice detail. I like how the red area has like texture on it. That looks really good. And then the web lines are painted and sculpted, so that is awesome. It's hard to execute that so cleanly, but S.H Figuarts did a great job with it. It looks really good. And then the eyes look nice too. There's not a whole lot going on with the head sculpt. It's a really nice looking Spider-Man head sculpt, so I'm happy with it. I do feel like it looks movie accurate, and I think it came out great. And then moving down to the rest of the body, check out the spider on the chest. This looks really dope. And I love how shiny the silver is on the web lines and on the spider. It kind of has like a bit of a shine to it, you know? And it looks cool with the light bouncing off of it. Yeah, look at that spider, man. So cool. And then on the back, he's got another spider that looks really good. And then you could see that we have more texture on the blue. That all looks really nice. I do wish that the elbow was painted red on the outside. I don't know why they decided to leave it blue. Doesn't look too bad, but it would have been nicer if it was painted red. But yeah, all the web lines look really good. And everything is painted really well. Everything is super clean. and the figure looks amazing. And here we have the crazy looking hips. I really don't like these weird sliding pieces. I know it's to cover up like the joints when you're posing the figure, but man, I just don't like them. Look at that. Anyways, aside from that, the figure looks amazing. And it is kind of difficult to see, but some of the blue areas do have some like additional shading. You could see there's a little bit of a color difference, like in the upper thigh. Looks like they try to add a little bit of detail. It's really hard to see. In person, it's a little more apparent, but yeah, it's very subtle, and you could actually see a little bit of it in here too. Again, it may be hard to see on camera, but in person, you could see the subtle shading work in there. More texture down here on the legs, and then yeah, the feet look good too. So yeah, overall, man, the figure looks amazing. It's really well sculpted and really well painted. So they did a great job with all the details and the sculpt and just the overall look of the figure. And then for accessories, Spider-Man does come with a bunch of really cool stuff, including a bunch of different sets of hands. So first off, we have a pair of fists, we have a set of open hands, we have a set of thwip hands, we have a set of pointer finger hands, and then we have a set of gripping hands that could be used to hold on to the web effects that he comes with. And then we also have a set of slightly open cuffed hands, and these could be used to hold on to the loose mask piece that he comes with. I think this is awesome, and this could definitely work very well for some photos. I think the mask came out cool, and I'm happy that he comes with a set of hands that could grip onto the mask very securely. And then as far as the web effects, we've seen these type of effects before from S.H Figuarts. They're okay, you know, I'm not crazy about them, but at least it's something, so I'm happy that they're in here. And then he does come with two different unmasked head sculpts. This is the first one, and I've got to say, I think they did a pretty good job with it. When I first saw some in-hand images of this head sculpt, I was kind of unsure about it, but now that I see it in person, I think it looks pretty good. It's very well sculpted, the paint looks good, the eyes look good. Yeah, I think they did a great job with it. I do like the facial expression too. He's got like a more serious, like concerned facial expression, I guess you could say. But yeah, this is dope. The only thing I see that's kind of weird about it is that the sideburns look a little different. If you look on that side, it's a little different than it is on this side. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. But aside from that one thing, I think this is a great looking head sculpt. And it's really hard to see in person, but I noticed when I was zoomed in with my camera here, the hairline isn't perfectly painted. There's a little bit of brown on the head there, on the forehead. So that could have been a little cleaner. And then for the second head sculpt, we get a smiling face. And I think this looks pretty accurate. You could definitely see Tobey Maguire in there. But I like the other head sculpt more. Just this goofy smile kind of looks funny. I'm not really sure when I would use this. But, I think it's accurate to the actor. So that works. And, it's well done. It's very well sculpted and stuff. Yeah, it looks good, I would say. I just don't like it as much as the previous head sculpt. And for some size comparisons, here we have the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man alongside the S.H Figuarts Far From Home Spider-Man and the Mafex Far From Home Spider-Man. And I think the Mafex figure looks really good next to the Tobey Spider-Man, but the S.H one feels like the height is a little too close between those two figures, I feel like the Tom Holland version of Spider-Man should be shorter than the Tobey Maguire version because obviously in No Way Home, the Tobey Spider-Man character is like a older version of Peter Parker, right? So he should be a little bit taller, but I still think they look good together. And then here we have him alongside the Mezco Far From Home Spider-Man and the Mezco Homecoming Spider-Man. And then here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Peter Parker and Ned Leeds, but this Peter Parker has the head from the Marvel Legends Zombie Hunter What If Spider-Man figure. I like the way that looks, so it stays like that on my shelf. But yeah, I think these Legends are a little too big to be hanging out with this SH figure. And then here we have him alongside the old school Toy Biz Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and I still think that figure looks awesome. Obviously, it's very outdated, but I think it still looks cool, so I keep it on the shelf. And then on the opposite side, we have one of my favorite Spider-Man figures, and that would be the Mafex Homecoming Spider-Man. And I really like the scale between the Mafex Tom Holland Spider-Man figures and the S.H Figuarts Tobey Maguire Spidey. I think they look really good together. And then, of course, here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And then for some crossover action, here we have him alongside the S.H Figuarts Avengers Assemble Captain America and Iron Man. And for some more crossover action, here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends movie Venom with an awesome custom head sculpt from the homie Casting Cave. And then on the opposite side, we have the S.H Figuarts Deadpool. And Spider-Man does have some really nice articulation. In fact, I would say that's the strongest aspect of this figure. The fact that he's so easy to get into great poses and so much fun to play around with is definitely my favorite thing about this guy. So I think S.H Figuarts really killed it in that regard. I will say though, some of the joints were really tight on Spider-Man, so I did have to put a little bit of oil in the shoulder and in the torso. I've had some bad experiences with S.H Figuarts breaking on me because of the tight joints, so I didn't want to risk it on this guy, so I just put a little bit of oil in there, and once I did that, we were good to go. But yeah, man, this figure's a whole lot of fun to play with, and I'll say that this guy probably has more articulation than at least a couple of previous S.H Figuarts Spider-Man, so I was happy to see that. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on, starting off at the head. So like most import figures, he does have movement at the lower neck and at the upper neck. Using both of those, we get some really nice tilting to the side. And the movement on the upper neck is a little limited, but there's a lot of great movement at the lower neck. So using both of those, you could get some good stuff going. And then he could look up to about right there, which is okay. But if you want to get him to look up even more, you can use his torso to help you out just a little bit. And then he could look down to about right there, which is pretty nice. And then obviously he can look side to side. So pretty good movement at the head and the neck. And then for the torso, we do have a diaphragm cut. And we get some pretty nice movement out of that. It can go side to side. We can swivel. Before I put the drops of oil in there, when I tried to swivel it like this, you could just hear it. Like the squeaking was really loud and it made me uncomfortable. You know, I was like, damn, that's a little too much resistance. But once I put the oil in there, we were all good. So as you could see, there's some pretty nice movement there. It can go side to side. It can go back to about right there. And it goes forward to about right there. And then he does have it's some kind of ball joint at the waist. So using both the waist joint and the torso joint, he could crunch forward a pretty good amount. And you can also rock side to side on that waist joint a little bit. You can't really swivel though, so don't try to force that. But yeah, pretty good movement at the torso. And then for the arms, we do have like this butterfly type of joint, which is nice. Makes it so you could put his arms in front of him a really good amount for like punching poses or just whatever you need him to do. Yeah, so you could get his arm in front of him a really good amount. So that's always nice. Could get him into a nice boxing pose too. I really like what S.H Figuarts did with the shoulders and upper arms and stuff, because usually, or not usually, but I guess a lot of the times they don't put a bicep swivel on their Marvel figures. Thankfully, Spider-Man does have that. So yeah, he's got that butterfly type of joint at the shoulder. And then you can kind of shift things up and down however you need to. So that's nice. And then his arm is able to swivel all the way around. You can bring his arms up a really good amount to about right there. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows, bam, which get a really good bend. Check that out. And then at the wrist, he does have a ball joint that has a hinge, and then you could swivel on the hand itself or swivel on the ball joint where it goes into the wrist. And then for the legs, he does have these crazy hip joints, which get pretty good range. You could kick his leg forward to about right there, which is really nice. And if you crunch him forward, kind of gives the illusion that it's going up even more. So that is cool. He could kick to the side a really good amount. Could bring his leg back to about right there if you need to. So yeah, pretty good movement at the leg. And then he does have upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee, which gets a really good bend. Look at that, bam. If you want to get him to knee somebody in the face, he could do that. So that's pretty good. And then at the ankle, he does have a ball joint, so you are able to swivel at the ball joint. And then you could bring his foot forward to right there, bring it up to right there, and we do have some rocking action. And then we do have a toe hinge as well. So yeah, like I said, this guy has some really nice articulation, and he's a whole lot of fun to pose around. It's easy to get him into really cool dynamic poses with not a whole lot of effort, So figures like that are nice, that are like, not too difficult to get into cool poses and stuff. You could really do some great stuff with this guy. Feels like any pose you put him in, he looks pretty damn cool, I really like the articulation setup on him, and he's definitely a whole lot of fun to play with. What the hell am I doing here? Let me mess with it just a little bit more. Hopefully I could do something not as bad. Yeah, I like how you could get his leg way up like that for like web swinging situations. Yeah, you could definitely get some cool things going with them. And it's not very difficult to get him into cool poses. So yeah, the articulation on this guy is awesome. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I think this is a really, really great figure. S.H Figuarts did a very nice job. There was one thing that I knew I wasn't going to like going into this figure, and my opinion on that one thing hasn't changed, but I will say there are enough positive aspects to this figure that I'm able to overlook that one negative thing. And the negative thing is really just a matter of preference. I'm not a big fan of the way S.H Figuarts does the hip areas on their Spider-Man figures. I feel like there's too many pieces, too many things going on, and it just looks weird. And yes, you do get some good range out of the hips, but there's other ways to do it that don't look so ugly, in my opinion. But aside from that one thing, I think this is an amazing figure. Everything else is extremely well done. It's beautifully sculpted, a whole bunch of great articulation, a bunch of cool accessories. I love having the Tobey Maguire unmasked head sculpts and all that, all the different hands, the web effects, the loose mask, all that stuff is really cool. And this figure is awesome. It's one of those things that's been long awaited. I'm happy that S.H Figuarts came through and did such a great job with it. I really hope that Mafex takes a stab at this version of Spider-Man. I think they would kill it too. I'm looking forward to checking out the Legends ones. But yeah, for now, I'm really, really happy to have this one. And I think that people are going to be very, very happy with it. And it feels good to finally have this version of Spider-Man, it's been so long. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. If you're not aware, I go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and every Friday at 7 p.m. So come through, let's talk about toys and get weird. Thank you very much. Peace.